Yeet recently dropped an album called Afterlife and Benny X is all over it. The beats are crazy as usual and I've been making a bunch of beats in the style of it, so I'm excited to show you guys this one. But before we get into it, be sure to leave a like and a comment if you guys are messing with these Benny X tutorials. I'm having so much fun making these beats because yeah, it's just different. He's constantly trying to get a new sound and kind of start the new wave that everyone rides. Yeah, it's just fun trying to get into his head and trying to make loops like he does. But yeah, be sure to check out the description as well for our website. We are constantly running sales there and we have a bunch of free kits there as well that you guys can just go and cop. Be sure to tap into our Discord as well to stay in touch with our Twitch streams. It's always fun seeing you guys around there. And without further ado, let's get into it. Now I've said this in I think every Benny X tutorial I've made. The thing that kind of sets Benny X aside from normal producers nowadays is his sound selection. He kind of stays away from like the mainstream plugins like Serum and Purity, and he leans more towards like stock and free plugins that he discovers. So I've kind of tapped into that and downloaded a bunch of old VSTs that I had when I started producing. And for this one I started off with Surge XT. It's a great free synthesizer. You can customize a lot with this plugin. It might look a bit complicated, but as soon as you get the grip of it, it's really easy, and the presets alone are really good, so there's no harm in trying it out. But for this first preset I used a lead and it's called Probability, and I started off with this pitched up version. And then after that I stereo separated it a bit and I put an EQ on it and I put an instance of halftime on as well. And then when I heard that, I instantly thought of like a call and response thing, and I pulled up another instance of Surge XT and it's another lead called Bad Childhood. Hectic. And this lead is kind of just a layer on top of the lead that I already have. And on that lead, I also had an instance of Supermassive, which is a reverb. And then I also had Portal on and I left it on the default preset. And then moving on to the next lead, which is the response in the melody. It's also another instance of Surge XT. And this preset is called Fog. And that is it for the melody. And when you hear these beats from Benny, they can sometimes seem very complex, and usually they are pretty complex. But a lot of the times when you have a right sound like this lead that I got and the halftime that kind of just hits right, it's so catchy and it's so full that you kind of don't have to add much to it. Hence why I only added like 2 more leads on top of it before getting into the drums, because I just feel like I can already make a crazy bounce with this alone. So I just got into the drums and then I left the melody as it is. And once again, this is all from a free plugin, so this is really possible to do it with anything. I've done this with Expand, with Citrus even. You can really fuck around with sounds, especially if it comes from a stock plugin. If it's like a shitty sound from the start, it's kind of nice to play around with it, especially for this kind of sound Benny X was going for. But moving on to drums, I started off with this hi-hat pattern. And this wasn't actually like the original hi-hat pattern, it was way more busy, but as you can see, the rest of the drums kind of took over, so I kind of had to go back to the hats and just clean up a bit to leave some space for the other drums. But moving on, I added this open hat, and I think most of these drums are from Rio's 25k kit, which is just like a free kit that he dropped with all of his essential sounds in, so it's just kind of a good go-to to have. And then next up I layered 2 claps, and the first clap is the normal clap from Rio's kit, and the first clap sounds like this, and the other clap is this. And then next up I added a Zay snare. So now you can kind of start to hear the bounce coming together with all these like off snares and percussions. And for the last type of percussion, I had this rim. And then lastly for the drums, I have the 808, and I had 3 different 808s in this beat. Starting off, I have the classic Yeat 808. And then I added on a CTM. And then I finished off the pattern with a classic Zay. And just a quick tip, if you guys want to have like multiple 808s in your beats, just be sure to go to your menu of each 808 and go to the envelope menu and just turn down everything except the hold and the sustain, and then your 808 will play as long as your note is on the grid. So it's just kind of easier to control your 808s if you have like 3 or 4. And then lastly, I just added a kick for a part in the beat. And yeah, that is about it for the beat. As you can hear, it sounds pretty crazy because of the drums, but in theory the loop is so simple. I just found the right sound to halftime, and then that kind of just allowed me to go crazy on the drums. And I feel like that still leaves a lot of space for an artist, especially on these types of beats, because even though there's so many sounds, I can still hear an artist on this and him or her having more than enough space to do their thing on this. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something new. Once again, leave a like and a comment if you guys enjoy these types of tutorials, and once again, be sure to check out the description as well for all the links. And yeah, I'll check you guys in the next one.